The twin moons of Zerion cast pale shadows across the crystalline snowfields as Commander Raza adjusted his thermal scanner one final time. The Galactic Council's expedition to this frozen wasteland had been anything but routine. What should have been a simple mineral survey had turned into something far more complex when they discovered the ruins of an ancient civilization buried beneath kilometers of ice. "Contact ahead, 2 clicks northeast," his communications officer reported through the static-filled comm system. Unknown biosignature, small but struggling. Raza frowned, his breath forming clouds in the sub-zero atmosphere despite his environmental suit's heating systems. The indigenous Xerioni had supposedly been extinct for millennia. Nothing should be alive out here in these killing temperatures that could freeze molecular bonds solid in minutes. "Dr. Naz," he called to the expedition's xenobiologist. "You're with me. Everyone else maintain perimeter." Dr. Naz Hassan pulled her thermal cloak tighter as she fell into step beside him. Her dark eyes, visible through her helmet's visor, reflected both curiosity and concern. As one of the few humans in the mixed-species expedition, she had long grown accustomed to being underestimated by their alien colleagues. The Zephyrians thought humans too emotional. The crystalline Vorthon considered them primitive. The gas-based ethereals found their solid matter existence baffling. None of them understood what Naz had learned through years of study, that humanity's greatest strength lay not in their technology or their logic, but in their inexplicable capacity for empathy across species lines. The biosignature led them to a shallow depression in the ice, where ancient ruins created a natural windbreak. There, huddled against a crumbling stone wall, was something that made both humans stop in their tracks. It was small, no larger than a human infant, with silvery blue fur that sparkled like starlight. Its limbs were drawn close to its body in a futile attempt to conserve heat, and its breathing came in shallow, desperate gasps. Most remarkably, it had 4 arms and large, intelligent eyes that tracked their movement with unmistakable awareness. "By the void," Raza whispered. "It's a Zerioni youngling." The creature, the cub, tried to crawl away from them, its movement sluggish from hypothermia. It made a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze, barely audible over the howling Arctic wind. "Scanner indicates its core temperature is dropping rapidly," Naz said, her scientific training warring with something deeper. "Raza, it's dying." Before he could respond, their Vorthon expedition leader, Crystalline Matrix 7, materialized beside them in a shower of ice crystals. Its geometric form pulsed with cold blue light. "Fascinating specimen. The xenoarchaeology team will want to study this remnant before its biological functions cease." "Study?" Naz stepped protectively closer to the cub. "This is a living, sentient being." "A dying specimen of an extinct species," the Vorthon corrected with typical crystalline logic. "Its preservation for scientific analysis takes priority over temporary life extension." The cub made that wind chime sound again, weaker now. Its 4 tiny hands reached toward Naz with unmistakable supplication. Raza watched his colleague's face transform. He had seen that expression before, during the Centauri relief mission when she had insisted on staying behind to evacuate injured civilians despite the collapsing orbital platform. It was the look humans got when their notorious emotional programming overrode all rational consideration. "No," she said simply. Without waiting for permission, Naz deactivated the external heating elements of her environmental suit and opened the front seals. The Arctic air hit her with brutal force, but she reached down and gently lifted the cub, pressing it against her chest before resealing her suit around both of them. The effect was immediate. The cub's desperate breathing began to steady as her body heat, amplified by the suit's internal heating systems, surrounded it. "Dr. Hassan," Crystalline Matrix 7's voice carried harmonic overtones of disapproval, "you have compromised the expedition's primary objective. Return the specimen immediately." "The specimen has a name," Naz replied, feeling the tiny creature's 4 hands grip her thermal undersuit. "Or it will once we get back to the ship." Raza stepped forward, his hand moving to his sidearm, not to draw it, but to rest on it meaningfully. "I'm afraid there's been a change in mission parameters. We're returning to base immediately." The Vorthon's crystalline form shifted through several geometric configurations, the equivalent of extreme agitation. "Commander, you cannot allow emotional illogic to—" "I'm allowing human judgment to guide this mission," Raza interrupted. "Dr. Hassan, how's our patient?" Nas smiled as the cub's wind chime vocalizations took on a more musical quality. Its large eyes had found hers through her helmet visor, and something like trust flickered in their depths, responding well to treatment. But Raza, when the council reviews this, let them review it. Sometimes the right choice and the logical choice aren't the same thing. As they made their way back to the expedition base, the cub, which Naz had started calling Melody in her mind, began to show more signs of recovery. Its forearms moved with increasing coordination, and its vocalizations became more complex, almost conversational. By the time they reached the heated shelter, word had spread among the expedition team. The Zephyrians clustered at a distance, their wing membranes fluttering with nervous energy. The ethereals formed glowing clouds of concern near the ceiling. Even the usually stoic reptilian Draknari seemed unsettled. "The precedent you set here," warned Sub-Commander Vex, a Draknari tactical officer, "could have far-reaching implications." "Good," Naz replied, settling into a chair with the cub still pressed against her chest. "Maybe it's time the galaxy remembered that preservation of life, any life, should take priority over scientific curiosity." As the expedition prepared for departure, Melody, as the cub came to be known, grew stronger. Within days, it was exploring the ship with boundless curiosity, its forearms allowing it to navigate the corridors with remarkable agility. Its wind chime language began incorporating sounds from the various crew members, creating a unique pidgin dialect. The real surprise came when they reached the orbital station above Zerion. Melody had apparently been broadcasting on frequencies only its species could detect. 3 adult Zerioni materialized from hidden settlements across the planet's surface, very much alive and desperate to reclaim their lost youngling. The reunion was a symphony of wind chime harmonies that brought tears to every human eye on the station. The adult Zerioni, graceful, beings with the same forearmed structure and starbright fur surrounded Melody with a protective circle while maintaining respectful distance from the humans who had saved their young. Through universal translators, their leader communicated a message that would echo through galactic council chambers for generations. The humans chose life over knowledge, warmth over logic. This debt can never be repaid, but will never be forgotten. Years later, when the Zerioni formally joined the Galactic Council as allies of humanity, diplomatic historians would point to this moment as a turning point, not because of any grand gesture or technological achievement, but because one human woman chose to open her arms to a freezing child, regardless of species. Dr. Naz Hassan never sought recognition for her actions that day. But throughout the galaxy, in dozens of languages and harmonic frequencies, parents would tell their young the story of the human who carried an abandoned cub out of the cold. And in the growing alliance of species that looked to humanity not for their weapons or their ships, but for their inexplicable capacity to see family in the most unlikely places, that story became legend. After all, that's what humans did. They brought their own warmth to a cold universe, one rescue at a time.